Welcome. We're delighted to have you with us today on African News 24 TV, bringing you the latest news, reports and updates. I'm Mary Adam. Here are stories and reports we have for you at this time. Leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, NNAMDI KANU, will know his fate today as judgment is currently being delivered on his case. The Federal High Court in Abuja is delivering the judgment in the alleged terrorism trial of KANU. The judgment, which is being broadcast live, is coming about 2 weeks after KANU waived his right to enter defense. KANU had sacked his lawyers, said he will defend himself, but failed at all the opportunities given him to defend himself, insisting he has nothing to defend since, according to him, the charges against him are based on a repealed law and that the prosecution has not established a prima facie case. KANU insists his trial is unlawful, demanding his immediate release. KANU is standing trial for terrorism over his secessionist activities, calling for the independence of Nigeria's Igbo-dominated southeast and some parts of the neighboring states as Biafra. The federal government of Nigeria accused him of carrying out terrorism-related activities, which includes broadcasting threats and inciting violence and killings in the region. 6 out of the 7 charges against KANU were filed under the Terrorism Prevention Act 2013 and amended in 2022. Meanwhile, there was a mild drama in court this morning during the proceeding as KANU went confrontational with the presiding judge, Justice James the judgment's delivery when he directed the registrar to call the case between the federal government and KANU. The IPOB leader stood up and interjected, saying, quote, "My lord, there is no judgment today because we have joint issues in the matter." Justice Omotosho in response advised KANU to follow court processes, saying, quote, "Defendant, there is decorum in court. Let the registrar call the matters accordingly." KANU, however, insisted that he was entitled to file his final written address. KANU went on to openly challenge the judge over what he described as procedural violations and the use of non-existent laws in his prosecution. He accused the judge of not knowing the law. Following the heated exchange, the judge directed the operatives of the Department of State Services to take the IPOB leader out of the courtroom. The implication of which is that KANU's judgment was read in his absence. Ahead of the ongoing judgment delivering on the allegation of terrorism by NNAMDI KANU, the Nigeria police say they are not taking chances with the outcome of the judgment. This is according to the police public relations officer in Abia State, the home state of NNAMDI KANU, Maureen Chinaka. Chinaka quoted the State Commissioner of Police, Dan Ladi Issa, of putting security strategies in place and also engaging the cooperation of sister agencies to forestall any crisis. Issa said, quote, "We have already placed security coverage to monitor the entire state. We put some security strategies in place to make sure there is no breakdown of law and order." End of quote. The police say they are not expecting any anti-behavior in any part of the state, whichever way the judgment goes. While the police is giving assurances of security, the Nigerian army is dismissing a message circulating on social media announcing a sit-at-home order in the southeast. The Nigerian army asks that the now viral message should be seen as fake and handiwork of criminal elements. In a statement by the acting deputy director of Army Public Relations, 82 Division, Lieutenant Colonel Olabisi Ayeni, the threat was aimed at instilling fear in the region. The Army spokesperson insists there is a robust security architecture in place to guarantee the safety of residents. Still in security, the air component of Operation Hardened Kai, Nigerian Air Force has launched decisive airstrikes on ARRA, a notorious terrorist hideout in Sambisa, Borno State. The NAV Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, made this known in a statement on Wednesday, November 19, 2025. Ejodame said the strike was carried out after a directive from the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke. Ejodame said the operation followed intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions that tracked terrorist movements after the October 17 ambush at Kashomri. He said that persistent surveillance over Kashomri and Sambisa revealed suspicious activity and active terrorist structures at ARRA. He noted that NAV aircraft engaged designated targets through coordinated and successive attack runs. The NAV spokesman said all identified targets were destroyed, degrading terrorist capabilities and disrupting their command and logistics systems. Ejodame said the operation reflects NAV's commitment to protecting the nation and supporting ground forces across all operational fronts. He added that the NAV remains determined to neutralize threats, defend Nigeria's territory, and advance lasting peace nationwide. Meanwhile, the federal government is blaming the attacks on Kebbi and KWARA states on the remarks by the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Secretary to the government of the Federation, George HAKIMI, alleged that the killing and kidnap of 25 schoolgirls in Kebbi State and the attack on church in Ikuru in KWARA State stem from the threat by the United States President. He alleges that Trump's threat emboldened opportunistic violent groups. HAKIMI is of the opinion that Trump's threat is deploying U.S. troops to fish out terrorists killing Christians has inadvertently brought out more terrorists who had before now been degraded and reduced to isolated banditry. And in business, the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAAC, shared 2.94 trillion naira revenue to the federal government, states, and local government councils in October 2025. The revenue was shared at the FAAC meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, November 19. The FAAC, in a communique issued at the end of the meeting, said the 2.94 trillion naira total distributable revenue comprised distributable statutory revenue of 1.376 trillion naira, value-added tax revenue of 617.303 billion naira, and electronic money transfer levy revenue of 47.87 billion naira. The FAAC stated that total gross revenue of 2.934 trillion naira was available in October. It disclosed that the total deductions for cost of collection was 115.278 billion naira, while total transfers, interventions, refunds, and savings was 724.603 billion naira. And the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has given assurances of its new maritime labor e-platform, meeting global standards for protecting seafarers' rights and improving their working conditions. The agency believes the digital system will make Nigeria's maritime sector more competitive. At a workshop in Lagos, NIMASA showed seafarers and dock workers how to register, verify their details, and get their ID cards through the new portal. NIMASA's Executive Director for Maritime Labor, Jibril Abbas, said the platform is part of the agency's move towards full digital operations. He explained that it helps NIMASA keep a proper register of all maritime workers as required by law. The federal government officially launched the platform in June during the 2025 Day of the Seafarer. And on the foreign scene, the United States President Donald Trump has signed into law legislation requiring the release of government records on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trump had over the weekend reversed his months-long opposition to the Epstein File Transparency Act and ensuring that it sailed through Congress on Tuesday in a rare show of bipartisan unity. The president, a former friend of the late sex offender, announced on social media on Wednesday night that he had signed the bill, foregoing any media spectacle of the event. Insiders warned that even with President's signature, his administration could lean on redactions, procedural delays, or lingering federal investigations to keep explosive details out of the public eye. Let's head to the sports arena, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria have been ranked 38th globally in the latest FIFA ranking released by the world governing body on Wednesday. The Super Eagles climbed in the table but still trail Morocco, Senegal, Egypt and Algeria, who remain Africa's top 5 teams in the latest ranking. Spain kept their hold on top spot, with Argentina, France and England staying close behind them. The ranking shifted after a busy international window that ended UEFA and CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers and settled the final CAF and AFC playoff fixtures. FIFA said the new table will guide the draws for the FIFA World Cup 2026 playoff tournament and the European playoff scheduled for Thursday in Zurich. Still in sports, the honor follows a remarkable year in which Super Falcons secured their 10th Women's Africa Cup of Nations title. Morocco defender Achraf Hakimi was named African Footballer of the Year at the 2025 CAF Awards in Rabat on Wednesday. Hakimi becomes the first defender to claim the prize in 52 years, as he finished ahead of Mohamed Salah and Victor Osimhen in the voting. The Paris Saint-Germain defender was rewarded for a trophy-laden 2025 with PSG, in which he claimed the Champions League, Ligue 1 title, Coupe de France, and UEFA Super Cup. He is the first Moroccan to win the award since midfielder Mustafa Hadji in 1998 and the first defender since Zaire centre-back Bouanga Chimen in 1973. In entertainment, United Nigeria Airlines has accepted public apologies from social media influencers Very Darkman and Mr. Jollof following a physical altercation on a flight from Asaba to Lagos on November 17, 2025. The two influencers had exchanged blows mid-air, prompting the airline to intervene and deboard them. In a separate video apology, Very Darkman and Mr. Jollof expressed regret for the actions, citing self-defense and acknowledging the disruption caused to fellow passengers. Mr. Jollof apologized to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, United Nigeria Airlines and passengers, assuring such behavior would not recur. VDM also admitted to acting irresponsibly and apologized to passengers, the pilots, and flight crew while stopping short of guaranteeing future good behavior. And that's all we have for you at this time. Thank you for staying with us on African News 24 TV. Don't forget to follow us across all the social media platforms displayed on your screen and visit our website at africannews24.ng to stay informed and ahead. We'll be back with more updates in our next broadcast. I'm Mary Adim. Bye for now.